Okay, shalom, Lori, and shalom to whoever is present. We're having some technical difficulties with our host's browser, so I'm doing this on my phone, and I think the quality is still pretty good. Um, I arrived here in Florida on Thursday in New York. Praise God, I missed my flight connection to Tampa. And so I had to go to a hotel, which is wonderful because I didn't sleep at all from the Tel Aviv segment. And so I went to a hotel, slept 3.5 hours, and I was doing very well. And then on Friday, I flew down to Tampa. Pastor Nick Plummer picked me up. And I don't know if you ever wondered what happened to my van. And I know you, Lori, once took care of my van once or twice. And so Pastor Nick took care of my van for 2.5 years. That says a lot. And so the car is good, and they took care of it. And so tomorrow I'm driving down to Melbourne, and then on Thursday I'm driving to Orlando. I got churches, and those two churches are very interested in having me because of what happened in Boulder. And as you know, I've been talking about Islamic terrorism on American soil for many years now.
Yeah.
And so we will talk more about that. And then I drive up to Charlotte, where I spend the weekend with a couple. She's Swiss and he's American, good Christians. And when I was in Switzerland, I stayed in her father's home. So everywhere I go, I have family, I have friends. And then up to the southern area of Virginia, a town called Cana, and another town called Independence. That's Sunday night. And then Monday, I start my drive down to Bristol and then across to Nashville and then over to Texas. So, God willing. Um, okay, what I wanted to do is to emphasize that, and I've spoken about this many times over the last 35 years, that the Islamic agenda is to convert America to an Islamic country. And how do they do it? They do it by bribing the universities. So basically, 1,000 universities in the United States and Canada have been bribed, and they take in 500 male students a year. Multiply that by 4 years of college. That's 2,000 students every turnover. And the universities get millions and billions of dollars. And then is it any wonder over the last 25 years, 35 years, that America is being turned into an anarchist, Islamic, and communist country? Universities get addicted to the money. It's like drugs, and Islam basically takes over. So President Trump has a very big job in his hands to purge the universities of these crazy ideologies. But I'm hoping, I'm confident that America can still be saved, because if we don't save the universities from anarchism and communism and Islam, America will be destroyed. And I say this not only because I'm an American and I love America, but also I'm a Jew and I'm an Israeli. And Israel has better chances of surviving if America survives. If America doesn't survive, I see very bad things happening for the whole world. So what I'm trying to do, the best of my ability, is to make people understand what they don't want to understand, and that is bribery is a big deal. Uh, from 100,000 Muslims in 1970, they've gone up to 30 million in the last 50, 60 years. And one of the things I've been saying on these Zooms is that the Jews are either going to flee to Israel or be killed. Jews and their Christian spouses and relatives. There's going to be a tremendous move. I predict 10 million new Olim Chadashim are going to move to Israel. And our population will double from 10 million to 20 million. And as you all know, as a result of the war, we've spoken about this for the last 2 years because of the war, that the land which will be under Israeli control, is growing and growing and growing in spite of ourselves, because we don't want to expand. But Gaza, and President Trump said this, Gaza has to be emptied of these crazy people who don't want to live in peace with us. We can't tolerate a Gaza terrorist state. So these people have to go to other countries. Of course, if Avi Lipkin said this before the war, I'd go to jail. But if President Trump says it, it's kosher. So I'm following President Trump's lead and working to make sure that the lands that God intended for Israel, for the Jews and for the Christians, will eventually join up with Israel. I'm predicting that Lebanon will return to being a Christian Arabic country. I'm predicting that Syria is somehow, in spite of the looming civil war, there's another civil war brewing now in Syria. And terrorist soldiers of Julani, of Ahmed Shara, they lost 6 soldiers yesterday to ISIS. So ISIS is attacking the apostate Julani's people. The Shiites are attacking. Syria is a mess. But all of these things are happening not because I wanted it or you wanted it. It's happening because God wanted it. Same applies to Jordan, Saudi, and Yemen. And I predict that our borders will include those eventually, not because we want to. We don't want to. On the contrary. But the insanity of the nations that hate us will cause their downfall. And so we're very excited to see the fulfillment of God's prophecies in the Bible. And these are promises to the Jews and to the Christians as a people. We are the people of the book. And I'm very, very excited to be living at this time, because who would have ever believed before October 7th, 2023, that these things would come to pass. So we're very excited. The Israeli economy is doing pretty well, but we want to see how to end the war, because the Israeli reserve soldiers and regular soldiers are getting very tired from this Sisyphic, never-ending war with Gaza. But I think it's fair to say that we are every day grinding down more and more and more of the Hamas capabilities. We're grinding down every day more and more of the Hezbollah capabilities. So I'm very, very happy, very excited that these things are happening. Then I come to the States, and I hear that that the fanatic Muslims are killing Jews with fire bombs, Molotov cocktails. We're living in a crazy situation. And I've been on podcasts in Israel, which were basically shut down because I said that Christians will be moving to the land of Israel also, and with their Jewish spouses. So you should just know things are not easy for me in Israel. And then comes the time after 2 years that I've not been in the States, 2.5 years. Finally, I come to the States, and glad to be here, glad to be doing God's work. And I'll be very glad to come and have breakfast at your place, Lori. And maybe I'll bring Yaakov if it's going to be a week from Sunday. If not, Yaakov goes home, and I'll come the following Sunday or the Sunday after that.
No,
and
the
then
15th works for us, Avi. That's fine. That's good.
Yeah, and then Yaakov goes back around the 21st, and then I'm back to my usual work. And in the Houston area, I'll be transferring all of my books to Arkansas and save $500 a month there. Maybe yes, maybe no. I'll sell the van, and then in the future just fly in and rent a car. But anyway, so I'm getting all my accounts in order, and very excited to be here. I may go to Colorado, to the Front Range, because this thing in Boulder is much bigger than anyone can imagine. And I've been warning about this. You have, instead of 100,000 Muslims like 1970, you have 30 million in America today. So we have to watch the Islamic agenda very clearly. My problem is that nobody wants to listen to a radical like myself, even though what I'm saying is true. Um, I don't know where else to begin, because every week we do this, and every week it's the same story. Um, God is giving Israel the victory. Um, President Trump has been very good to Israel. Now we hear rumblings that he wants to make a deal with Iran. Um, I have to tell you, one of the reasons I came to the States was because when we were literally a day away or 2 days away from war with Iran, I said to Rachel, to my wife, I said, how can I leave you if there are going to be hundreds and thousands of rockets and missiles hitting Israel? But the moment President Trump said, no deal, no problem, there's going to be a deal. Please, Israel, do not attack Iran. So as far as I know at this stage, I think it was all clear for me to travel to the States. And I'll be here until as long as I need to. And then probably within a month and a half, I'll go back to Israel. And we shall see where this is all going. I did want to say something else also. It was in the news this week that Mahmoud Abbas of the Palestinian Authority made a declaration that the allies of the Palestinians are the Russians, the Chinese, the North Koreans, and the Iranians. And America is the enemy of the Palestinians. And this is after America gave so many billions of dollars to the Palestinians. And if we're talking about the possibility of World War III breaking out, I think it's very important for the United States to understand that the Palestinians are not allies. President Trump should not be looking at the Gaza Arabs as allies. He should not have mercy on them. What we should do is quickly get them out, send them to countries like Indonesia or Malaysia or Libya. I don't know what's going on. I'm not part of the backroom deals. We've got to get Gaza clear of these terrorists. People who do not want to live in peace with Israel should go live in peace somewhere else. So God is good. I think God did all of this for a reason. We could not have moved the Palestinians to other countries had they not attacked us as brutally as they did on the 7th of October. So please pray for Israel. Pray for America. I'm praying for America too, because what happened in Boulder is not the beginning. You had 2 Israeli diplomats murdered in D.C. You had the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. His house was firebombed by Islamic terrorists because he's a Jew. He might be governor of Pennsylvania. This is an attack not only on the Jews. This is an attack on all of America. Yeah. So I'm watching things very closely. I'm glad we have these Zooms so that we can discuss these things. We are facing also, God forbid, a war between Russia and Ukraine expanding maybe into a world war. And so we're watching this very closely. The Ukrainians have been doing a wonderful job with their drones. The Russians lost 40 bombers. These bombers cost a lot of money, even for the Russians. Poland is increasing its defense spending. Germany, England are increasing their defense spending. So I don't know if we're headed towards world war, but I do know that people are very concerned about the crazy behavior of Putin, the Chinese, North Koreans. I mean, think for a moment. Do you know any democracies in that bloc? There are no democracies between Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. So it's very important that the democracies work together to defeat Islam, to defeat communism, to defeat radicalism, and help to protect America. God save America. I don't know what else to say. If you guys have questions, just fire away and I'll be happy to answer.
Avi, what's the status of the Witkoff proposal? The last I heard, Hamas was saying, well, we're still thinking about it, but is that still the case?
Correct. In other words, the Palestinian approach is yes, however, yes, but. Yes, but means no. And so Israel's just blasting away, continuing to grind down the Hamas until there's nothing left. And I'm watching the news here. I'm watching all the stations, and they don't show the truth. They don't show how
Yes.
happy the Palestinians are to be getting food from the West, cursing Hamas and basically kissing Netanyahu, blessing Netanyahu. So I don't know where all of that is going, but I'm hoping that that people will not die of starvation. We're doing our best to feed them. Hamas is shooting people who are going legitimately to get their food from the Americans. It's a horrible situation. Hamas prefers to die rather than hand over this war could be over if they handed over the hostages. They don't want to hand over the hostages. So listen, war is war, and you don't sacrifice a whole country because of 58 hostages. So Prime Minister Netanyahu and the army, they're doing the best they can, and we'll see what happens. I'm following the news every day, both here on American stations and, of course, in Israel. Any more questions? Hello? Ken? אני בזום, אני לא יכול לדבר עכשיו. Shalom. I don't even know who it is. They're usually asking for money.
Right.
Any more questions?
Relax.
I have a question. What do you think about
Yes, Annette.
how Netanyahu feels what we should do, and Trump seems like they have two different things that they feel they should do, and they're not on the same page about Iran. What they should do.
Well, the official answer is we are totally coordinated. Israel and America are totally coordinated. And until now, they have been. President Trump, I think, in order to receive the trillions of dollars that he's gotten from Saudi and from the Emirates and from Qatar and all these other countries, he has to listen to the Arabs. And when they say, for example, Qatar is not so much in favor of attacking Iran, President Trump has to listen to them. But cynically, I'm very cynical. I think at some stage, Israel will say, to hell with everything and go ahead and attack Iran. And what we will see here, I don't know if you remember the term good cop, bad cop. The good cop is Trump with the Muslims, and the bad cop is Netanyahu. And maybe between the two of them, there will be some kind of order with the Islamic Iran, which is a crazy country. People are great, but the system has to be removed. If you ask me, I would say full steam ahead, damn the torpedoes, and get that Ayatollah regime out of power and bring a democracy to these people. Maybe they don't want democracy, but even not, if they have the son of the Shah coming to rule the country in a constitutional monarchy in Iran, that would be good. So again, we're waiting. There are a lot of things that are in God's hands.
I seem like if they keep waiting, they'll get that the nuclear whatever it is. If they keep waiting,
Do you remember there used to be a TV show, Candid Camera?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you least expect it, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Netanyahu is on his way. So smile, you're on Middle East Camera.
Mm. Yeah.
Listen, Israel will do what it has to do. It's not the first time. Israel attacked under Begin, attacked the Iraqi nuclear project of Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
Everyone was angry with Israel. Then they blessed Israel for doing it. And then Israel took the nuclear project. Everyone was angry with Israel. And then everybody thanked Israel.
Mhm.
So Israel, I think, gets it. Israel understands the problem of these nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
And I think Israel will do what it has to do. And in the end, we're the bad cop, and we do what has to be done because nobody wants to listen to the good cop except give him money and try to silence him.
Mm. Yeah.
Good question, Annette.
Thank
All
you.
your questions, all your questions are good.
Any questions?
I see Angela showed up.
Do you have any questions, Bob?
Angela is from the island of Jersey,
Oh,
South England. So I always joke with her, she's from Jersey.
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 Can you hear Avi? Can you hear him?
I didn't hear what?
Do you have any questions?
Yes, if there are any questions, please address them. Tell me, Angela, you wrote down Gidon Ariel. Is he on the Zoom? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. I think there may be an issue with Angela's audio.
Okay. Okay. Otherwise, I'll start telling British jokes.
What do you think about the upcoming UN meetings?
Well, I think the United Nations, in spite of itself, is being forced to do maybe some good things regarding Russia and building up the military strength of Europe. The Polish are strengthening their military. Their expenditure on defense is now up to 4.1%, which is the highest per capita of any country in Europe. So the United Nations is watching very closely. I think even the chairman of the United Nations, Guterres, is checking into the lies of Hamas in Gaza. And we are not shooting civilians. The Hamas is shooting civilians and then blaming Israel. This is something that's been going on a long time already. So you can pray for the Muslims in Gaza if you want, because they're victims of their own system. And the United Nations and United States in general, nobody wants to talk about Islamic terrorism. What is the reason for this Islamic terrorism?
The reason is like you said, it's a psychosis.
I see you're my loyal follower there, Annette, and I appreciate it.
You brought up Russia. What's your current thoughts with Russia and Ukraine?
Well, I think Russia is completely psychotic. Russia is the kind of country that never had a Magna Carta. They never had a democratic inclination. 1,000 years they've been totalitarian, and they have no qualms about sacrificing millions of their young boys and girls for no reason. I would not be surprised if at some stage Putin has an accident. And it wouldn't be from the people of Russia, it would be from his cohorts, from the mafia type people who work with him.
Yeah, because the mafia's kids have been killed too.
I have to tell you, I have a sister in Indiana. I love her very much. And once I said to her, Putin's completely crazy. He's killed over 1 million on both sides, 1 million boys and girls, Ukrainian side and the Russian side. And my sister, who's a Democrat, said, "Yeah, Trump's also crazy. He sent all of these ventilators to Russia when America needed them, for the COVID." So that's how Democrats think.
Ventilators kill people.
Ventilators kill people, correct?
Yeah. Save anybody.
Yeah. Any more questions? This is, I think, one of the shortest Zooms we've ever done, half hour.
Avi, we are hearing up here a lot about the settlements, the Jewish communities slated in response to Europe's unilateral move to declare a Palestinian state. There a lot of communities on the drawing block, if you will, for Judea, Samaria. We're hearing a lot about that. Maybe you can respond to what you think or know about that issue.
Well, of course. I've been living in Israel since 1968, and I've seen the growth of the communities. A book came out about the Shem group, the Nablus group. I was a member of that group in 1969, 70, 71, when there was really nothing. It was only just beginning. The settlements were just beginning. And we are now over 500,000 residents living in Judea and Samaria. And the residents of the Arab residents are about 1 million, 1.5 million. So we are actually approaching the numbers that the Arabs have. Well, one of the important points is that our reproduction is such that we need to build more communities to make room for young men and women who get married to live near the parents. Tel Aviv, which is only a few miles away, is impossible as far as prices. And so these settlements, I think it's 26, which have been declared and are going to be built, will provide homes for tens of thousands of more Israelis who want to live there. And you have to remember, if there is no settlement in Judea and Samaria, it will be very easy to destroy Tel Aviv and Kfar Saba and other towns there. So I don't think you should be concerned. We are building, and there's a saying in Arabic, the dogs are barking and the caravan continues on its way. And our caravan is continuing on its way. And, I have to tell you, Neil, that this thing that happened in Boulder is a sign of the times. And I believe we're going to see many, many Jews and Christians moving to Israel. And I always say this, I'm very optimistic because I believe the Bible Bloc Party is ignored. And all of a sudden, one day in our next election, we're going to be in. And so it's amen. It's a very exciting time. Just remember, the Messiah is not coming to the Mount of Olives only for the Southern Baptists. He's also coming for the Northern Baptists. And he's coming for the Jews. He's coming for everyone.
Yeah.
So with this immigration, it cannot be the Messiah shows up and there are only Orthodox Jews there. Some people think that's what's going to happen. No, that's not what's going to happen. So, as they say in Britain, I know Angela's listening, put starch in your tea. It helps you to keep a stiff upper lip. That's a very British joke.
Yeah.
British joke from World War II, I think. Thank you, Neil. That was a good question.
Good morning, Avi. This is Teresa. I'm on
Can you speak up and more clearly?
Sure, let me see. I'm calling from my father's phone. Teresa Mataraz from Susan's group.
You're breaking up, dear. I really can't hear anything you're saying.
Oh, okay. Let me adjust that. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I think it's better. Yes. Repeat the question.
I was agreeing with you on this immigration coming quickly, but I wanted to ask, is there much immigration happening now, even with the Hamas Gaza situation and the explosion at Ben Gurion?
Well, the what's happening is that instead of hundreds of thousands of immigrants, we're seeing tens of thousands, and there are some Israelis who have left the country. But that always happens. In Israeli history, you see rises and falls of the population. But I think overall, what we will be seeing is massive immigration, but it's not just yet. It's 20, 30,000 immigrants this last year, which is okay.
Right. I wish I was one of them.
Maybe one day
I said I wish I was one of them.
when the Bible Block Party gets into the Knesset, you will be if you want.
There you go. Yeah. I'll have to bring my dad with me. We'll be good.
Good, good.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So you're coming to the States?
I am in the States.
Oh, you are now. Oh, okay. I didn't
Tell me,
realize that.
I don't know if I hear your voice properly. Are you Donna?
No, it's Teresa. I'm on Ivan's phone.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Teresa from Susan's group.
Okay, so if you want, tell Susan that there was a change in my tickets and I actually flew in to Kennedy and then from Kennedy to Tampa. I'm in Tampa now. I will be flying back to Israel through Kennedy. So tell Susan sometime in July, probably, I'll take a flight with Southwest to MacArthur. And then she and Al will pick me up, and I'll do a meeting or two, and also with Pastor Debbie and with Susan. And
Excellent.
I'm here.
and then from there, I catch my flight from Kennedy.
Yeah,
Susan,
I'm
Susan's
here.
on. Susan's on.
Can you hear me?
There you are. Why are you so elusive? You're
Yeah,
hiding.
I've been here. Yes. No voice, but I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing you.
When did you say? In July?
Yes. In other words, my ticket is 60 days. I can bring it up, but theoretically, from anywhere in the South, I can fly up with Southwest to MacArthur. I'll coordinate it with you.
All right. I'm trying to get a few churches. So far, nothing, but I'm keep trying.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe, God forbid, there'll be some Boulder, Colorado type attacks in the New York area. And then everybody's going to say, who knows how to talk about that? You know, and
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Maybe we just want you to talk about it without an incident.
Yeah.
Nobody's listening. Nobody wants to hear it.
Well,
Well, we do. We do.
Before October 7th, I don't know if you remember, I told you that when next time you come, you got to start from scratch with your seminar on this
Right.
before this happens. So that's what you got to start right from scratch, even though people have heard it years ago and a lot didn't. They'll hear it different now.
They have to wake
Well,
up.
you have to remember that the attacks on 9/11 were basically squelched by President George W. Bush, who said that Allah is God and Islam is a religion of peace, and everybody should go back to sleep again. And that was a big mistake. And he was a Republican. So you have Republican presidents also who are in bed with Islam and will not call a spade a spade. This is horrible.
Rhinos.
The rhinos, yeah.
Money.
The information that I have is that these thousands and thousands of Islamic terrorists who came in during the Biden administration are preparing 9/11 attacks throughout the United States, and this is imminent. And sometimes I'm afraid I might be here in Tampa or Melbourne or Orlando or Charlotte or Dallas or Colorado, and all of a sudden a 9/11 attack breaks out, and then there's martial law. and I can't go forward and I can't go backward. I have to stay exactly where I am because of the martial law. But America is in the crosshairs of the Islamic terrorists. I mean, you're talking about thousands of terrorists who came across the border unvetted by the Biden administration. And I don't know. I don't know what to say. I've been warning about this 35 years, talking about it till I turn blue. And I mean, I really pray I'm wrong, but from what I see, I'm not wrong. So we have to watch very carefully. But thank you for reminding me about that. And you know what? If Susan and Al get me some really, really good New York pizza, I'll stay a few days.
Gianna's is waiting for you.
Johnny, yeah. There's no pizza like New York pizza. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's true. It's the water.
I agree. I just got back from Texas, and Lori and I met for a while, and her mom.
Great.
And
Great.
no pizza like New York. We tried.
Yeah. Even when New Yorkers come here, it's the water.
You know, there's a lady, I won't mention her name, in Dallas, and she's responsible for the kosher Texas chili cook-off. They have cook-offs for chili, kosher recipes. So maybe that's something New York doesn't have.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad to hear you, Susan. Good to hear you.
Yeah, Great Neck Chinese food is on the agenda too.
For sure, for sure. I miss Great Neck, where I grew up.
What part of New York?
Susan is out in Patchogue, Holbrook.
Long Island?
Yeah, in Suffolk County.
That's where I was born.
Avi, what do you
Speak
think
up.
about the foreign minister from Iran and his visits to Egypt and Lebanon?
Well, regarding Lebanon, Iran is still trying to resuscitate Hezbollah because Hezbollah is the proxy of Iran to attack Israel. And we're also very concerned about Egypt because Egypt is kind of has a one-track mind. It's kind of like a rapist who can only think about raping women, and the Egyptians, all they can think about is attacking Israel. And, you know, for heaven's sakes, we have an agreement with them. We have a peace agreement. Why would they attack Israel? But Israel is seen as the enemy of the Egyptians after we gave them Sinai 3 times. So there's a saying in Hebrew that there's a reason God made Pharaoh's heart stubborn, that he didn't release the slaves. Okay, I see somebody is asking a question about Turkey. Turkey, of course, is going to be the ultimate threat to Israel. And I was working on my book, and then when we all decided, my wife, my sons, and I, that I needed to travel, I just dropped everything and got on the plane and came. But I'm working on the book about Turkey and the Armageddon. It's going to be the bestseller of all of my books. But I will go back to Israel at late July and finish the book. It'll take me a few months, but I'll finish the book. Then I come back to the States to sell it.
So where do you think they stand right now, Turkey? But since we can't read your book yet.
Yeah, well, I'll say something very simple. Turkey, as much as they are Muslim, Sunni Muslim, do not like Iran, which are Shiite Muslim. And there is a competition between the Turkish Ottoman Empire and the Iranian Sassanid Khomeini Empire. And I think that the Turks are waiting for Iran to be finished. When Iran is finished and Lebanon is finished, then Turkey will definitely march in. So I think the Armageddon is not immediate, but it's in the pipeline.
So Turkey's biding their time to see what Israel does with Iran.
Yes, also, you have to remember that Trump, at least verbally, likes Erdogan. So I think the Turks are waiting for the next president before they attack Israel, whenever that might be. I don't think the Turks are in any rush right now. The Turks have a big problem with the Kurds. The Turks have a big problem with the Shiites in southwest Turkey. So I'm watching very closely all the things that are happening. I will say my friend from Bangladesh, who's he's Hindi, his wife is Christian, and he keeps me up to date with what's going on. The Turks are helping the Pakistanis in their war against India and against the non-Muslims in Bangladesh. And so there's a lot of killing going on, killing of Hindus, of Christians, of Buddhists. And the Turks are supporting that. The Turks are a murderous people. And eventually their plan is to come down and attack Israel. But as you know, God has a plan. I do want to say, yes.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What I do want to say that from what I feel, that President Trump economically is doing the right thing for America. But I think he's not going. His advice. What I heard yesterday was that Trump's advisors are not telling him the truth about Islam's plans to destroy America, destroy Israel, destroy all the countries which are not Muslim. So there is this insipid support for Erdogan, who's a murderer. But I think Erdogan is getting sick. I think he's getting older, and I think that there may be a change in Turkey. We'll see. But that Armageddon is always there. You know, Erdogan said, you know, he said to Netanyahu, you Jews, you know, waited so many years to create the state of Israel. You never forgot Israel for 2,000 years. And the Turkish Empire was 1,000 years old. And we've never forgotten our return to our borders, the borders of ancient, you know, Ottoman Turkey. So, you know, one of the reasons I'm writing the book about Turkey and the Armageddon is because nobody knows the history of Turkey, and really nobody cares. But you got to know the history of Turkey. But as usual, Rory, your questions are spot on. Yeah.
What's the latest on the Druze?
Well, we have an excellent relationship with them. As you may or may not know, we are paying salaries to the Druze soldiers in the south of Syria because they were part of the Syrian army, but they can't be part of the Syrian army now with Giuliani threatening to kill the Druze. So the Druze now are protecting their homeland areas, and Israel is helping them. I'm telling you, I think that the entire Druze community eventually will fall under the Israeli flag and be our brothers and sisters politically and militarily. Syria is going to lose, every day that goes by, Syria is going to lose more and more land and get divided. I think our borders easily will reach the Kurds and the Euphrates. And if the Egyptians attack us, our borders to the west will be the Nile River. So I'm saying all of this is fulfillment of the Bible. And it's not something that we asked for. It's not something we wanted. We didn't want it. But Israel's going to expand and our population is going to grow because many Jews and Christians are going to move to Israel.
So what's the update on the Bible block?
Okay. My dear hostess, Tikva, is asking what's happening with the Bible block. And to tell you the truth, one of the reasons I'm here in the States is to raise money for the party. And we ran in 5 elections. And we only got 400 votes in each election. Those 400 votes are the dearest people in the world, but you can't get into the Knesset with 400 votes. You have to have 150,000 votes. So I'm working to raise money so we can do publicity, radio, TV, newspapers, billboards, T-shirts, salaries, cars, put together an infrastructure of the party, because until now, it's kind of like me and 10 other people doing all the work. So the Bible Block Party is there. I finished rewriting the book. That's going to be book number 8. But I had to drop everything to get on the plane and come here, because things were calling me to come to the States. And so I'm here now. So I'll go back to Israel in July, August, and get the 2 books published, the one about Turkey and the one about the Bible Block Party updated. Get that published also.
So were most of those people voting from Christians in Israel, or were they a mixture?
It was mostly Christians and Messianics, correct?
From Israel.
Yeah. I have to.
But don't you think it's growing, the numbers, to keep it going?
Well, people just don't know about the party.
They don't know about it. Yeah.
And if I don't have the money to publicize, then it'll continue to be on a low flame, until one day God says, "Okay, time has come to make a big deal out of this." And I know it's going to happen.
Yeah. Never give up.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, at one time there was nothing.
One time there was nothing.
Yeah, at least there's something.
It took me 11 years to get 111 signatures and to pay the lawyers $50,000-$60,000. That was a process that took many years also. And so everything is in place. All we have to do is get more people to understand what we're doing. And if I go to New York, I'll have New York pizza.
Absolutely.
That's supposed to be funny. Okay. And in Dallas, I have kosher chili cook-off.
I think you can get that kosher chili in southern Brooklyn.
I would not be surprised. Everything can be found in southern Brooklyn. As they say, get out of here. Forget about it.
So, Avi, what do you think that what is Gaza post-war? What's the situation in
Gaza
Gaza?
post-war, President Trump has a wonderful idea, and we've got to get these. 50% of the population of Gaza wants to leave. They're not waiting, but Hamas threatens them, and we don't. We see governments not opening their doors. See, these people love Gaza so much, and yet they won't accept Gaza refugees. So I think the question will be, how much money will be involved in convincing these countries to receive these Hamas people? Because all of Gaza is Hamas, but 50% want to leave. Let them leave.
They don't want to take them in because they want to perpetuate.
Right. Nobody wants them. Everybody knows.
They want to perpetuate them.
Yeah. They want to bleed Israel, but meanwhile, the Palestinians are paying for that.
Yeah. Well, it's like Putin. Let's just destroy all our people because we don't care.
That's right.
You think that's about it for today, Avi?
Okay, sweetie. I hope next time I'll see you next week. And Ron had something very funny. He said 2-state solution in Canada and the UK. I think in Israel they were saying there should be a few 100,000 Palestinians sent to France. Let them be in the Riviera in France. So the people laugh about that too. Yes, I think we are good. And then next, I'll arrive around probably Tuesday in Dallas, and then you'll let me know when. I may not be able to do the Zoom Tuesday because I may be driving. But I think from the hotel where I will be in Tennessee, I'll be able to do the Zoom.
Okay.
And Yaakov lands in
Tennessee
the
Central
evening.
Time is where you'll be. Is it Central Time or Eastern?
You know what? That's a good question because Tennessee is cut right in half regarding the clock.
So
But
either
I
8,
will go. I'll figure it out.
okay, either 8:30 or 7:30. You figure it
Yeah,
out.
my guess is I will stop in Little Rock, go to some hotel and sleep.
Okay, then that'll be 7:30 for your time.
Yeah, right.